Well, most certainly the situation in Abia State, of course, still talking politics, is another issue of concern because those who believe that all may not be well in the Abia State House of Assembly now. Last Friday, the Speaker, Emmanuel Emeru, announced the names of new principal officers with no PDP lawmaker making the list. Of course, the PDP is the majority party in the House, and that is why that is an issue. A member representing the PDP in the House rejected that position and maintained that the PDP remained the majority party. A number of issues to raise on that one, particularly from the vice chairman of the PDP in the state said, and I quote, "Members of the Labour Party who are in the minority in the House were unilaterally appointed by the Labour Party as majority leader and deputy majority leader of the House, respectively, even when the PDP, as of right, had officially written to the House nominating its members for the positions reserved for the majority party." That's the vice chairman of Abia State PDP, Abraham Amar, saying that one. Well, two individuals join us this morning to have a conversation around this, and both of them joining us virtually. Honorable Godwin Adiele, member representing Okwa West State Constituency, Abia State House of Assembly, as well as Ferdinand Ekoma, who is special advisor to Governor Otti on media and publicity, appearing on behalf of the Labour Party. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Honorable, let me begin with you. How did this come to be in the first place, Honorable Adiele? Because one would have expected that being the majority party, it would only have been natural that they would take the cake and use their numbers to sway things. What exactly happened?
Thank you. Good morning, Moderator. Like you just said, normally the parliament has their rules, and Abia State Parliament is not an exception to that. We have a house rule in Abia State House of Assembly, and that house rule is a guide to whatever operations or whatever rules we want to make. And for the 7th Assembly, we have a house rule that we used, which definitely was supposed to start the 8th Assembly. But unfortunately, when the 8th Assembly was to be inaugurated, they jettisoned it. And we came to know that they want to use non-ranking members to produce the speaker and the deputy speaker. And that happened. We protested, and at the long run, we left it. Our House Rule Order 2, subsection 8, says, in starting a new house, there shall be a nomination from the ranking members. But this rule was not adhered to. The Labour Party just did what they liked and then announced the speaker and the deputy speaker.
Well, on that one, just a quick one before you go on. I asked the question, how did that come to be? The PDP was certainly in the House at the time, and I would expect that it's the clerk of the House that will administer the entire process. So the House has 24 members, the PDP has 11 members, and a number of other parties occupy one seat or the other. So at what point did the Labour Party, as you said, do what they wanted when the clerk of the House expectedly is not a member of the Labour Party?
When we came for the inauguration, after the proclamation, the clerk of the House was the officiate. And he called for nominations, and nominations was made. He called for further nominations, which we raised our hands, and he did not take it. And then he concluded that there was no further nominations, and announced that the one nomination is returned unopposed. That was what the clerk did. It was on the newspaper pages. It was on media. We objected to that, but at the end, we allowed it. Now, as a party,
Go ahead.
Should I go on?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. We can hear you.
Good. Now, the crisis now that we are facing currently is about the pronouncement of the majority leader, the deputy majority leader, the other principal officers, chief whip, and the deputy chief whip, which ultimately is supposed to be taken by the majority party in the House, which is PDP. But rather than doing so, the speaker now decided to announce, despite the fact that PDP has given them names of the people to occupy these principal offices, he went on to announce other names that was not what we agreed at the executive. And we said no, that is not what we agreed. And we objected to it. But when they insisted, we insisted, instead of fighting in the House, we decided to walk out.
So, Honorable, just a quick one before I come to Mr. Ekoma, because he's spokesperson to the governor of the state. How does the governor play in this? His job is to make the pronunciation, to proclaim the House open and let the House do their thing. How is the governor involved in this?
Well, the governor was involved during the on the day of inauguration. The proclamation was brought to the House by the governor himself. He came to the House and sat in the hallowed chambers with all of us.
Is that against any rule? Is that against any rule or law?
Well, it's not allowed. Nobody, in inauguration of a House, we don't allow anybody to anybody that is not a House member to come in, to avoid interference.
I'm asking a question directly. Is there a written rule against that action of the governor? Just asking.
Some rules are residual. Some rules are residual in operation.
Okay.
So that is what the residual rules.
Okay. Well, Mr. Ekoma, you've heard Honorable Adiele speak about this, and the governor is being accused, one way or the other, of influence, subversive influence, or whichever one you want to call it. How do you respond?
Okay, thank you. I thought Honorable Adiele would have just limited his argument to what happened in the House and where it concerns the House of Assembly members. You know, unfortunately, he decided, just like the way they are doing, decided to bring in the governor here. First, you asked him a question, whether that violated any rule or any law. He couldn't answer it because they actually invited the governor. The governor came there, sat, and didn't interfere in the activities after the proclamation, after everything, after the activities, the election of the speaker and the deputy speaker. The governor quietly left. He didn't engage in any form of interference. So it's unfortunate that he's bringing the governor into it. Now, he made reference to the election of the speaker. We have a law. The Constitution is the ground norm. And Section 92, sub 1 clearly states that there shall be a speaker and deputy speaker elected by members from among themselves. He didn't give any condition. No conditions attached. He didn't say there must be principal officers. Sorry, there must be ranking members. For example, the Abia State House of Assembly has 24 members. And out of the 24, it's only 3 members that are ranking members.
Mr. Kioma, it appears that we've lost connection. Okay, he's back now. Go ahead.
So, was he saying that if there was no election of any ranking member, or if they were all freshers, that they would not have a speaker? So you can't set a rule or set rules that contradict the provisions, express provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And the House of Assembly members decided among themselves to elect a speaker. So the PDP, the 3 members, would have violated the rights of the 23 members if they had insisted, or if anybody had allowed them to go ahead and choose speaker from among the 3 PDP members that returned as the ranking members.
But Mr. Kioma, I hope you were listening to Honorable Adiele, who also said that during the election of the deputy speaker, that other members were trying to raise their hands to make a nomination, but the clerk ignored them. That happened on 2 occasions. But the clerk is not a member of any political party, so why would the clerk interfere in the election of key members of the State Assembly in such a manner?
From my own observation, I wish he could bring the video that's on that of speaker. When the clerk called for the nomination, after the first nomination, he called for whether there was another nomination. There was no response. It was after, go and check the video very well. It was after he had hit the gavel that one person now raised his hand, because they were just reluctant. I'm sure what they did was they knew what they were doing. Maybe they just wanted to deceive members of the public and give them the impression that they were stopped from nominating their own. Then the clerk go and check the video very well, because I was very observant on that particular one. He had hit the gavel when this man now raised his hand. And he was even laughing. So, I mean, the man that raised his hand, he was laughing. So they had already made up their mind, because our people, our members are adduced, the necessary facts backed by the Constitution to say you cannot, because ab initio, the intention was just to impose a particular individual as the speaker. That was the arrangement they had, and it didn't work out. And because our people were able to cite the section of the Constitution that gives the House members the opportunity to choose their speaker, and not within the, among the ranking members only. But
you do agree, Honorable Mr. Kioma, that, it's a first, it's against the run of play to have a speaker from a political party that doesn't form the majority of numbers in the State Assembly. Apart from that, the speaker is a first-term speaker. Do you agree?
Sorry, I just cited the Constitution. I said section 92, sub 1. Read through it. That settles it. They're talking about rules. We are now asking the question, should their rules override the provision of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? It's very simple. Read it. It's very clear. And they know. Because when they were making the argument, dwelling on their rules, they ignored them until they met with all the members, and our own members came up with their sound argument. Say, look at what the Constitution says. And it is very clear. Never, there is nothing like a ranking member. And you could see, even they just concluded elections in the Senate and the House of Reps, you could see that minority members, first timers, took part in the election. And this is not the first time it will be happening.
Of course, there's no rule, according to your analysis, that says the governor cannot be part of the proceedings. But then, would the presence of the governor would have in any way had an influence or been a form of pressure on the choice of who emerged during the election?
At the moment, they can't make any reference. They can't make reference to any action taken by the governor that implies intervention or attempt to influence the activities of the House. They know that. The governor is a gentleman. They know this. You understand? I wouldn't want to begin to quote some of their members, what they were saying when they came out. You okay? So they were there. So the governor sat calmly, never interfered in any way. They carried out their own activity.
Honorable Kioma, are you still with us? I hate to put you on the spot. If you're back, I'd like to ask you. I'd like to ask you this.
The clerk was appointed by the PDP. The clerk has been there for years. He wasn't appointed by Governor Alex Otti.
But there's a new sheriff in town. There's a new governor in town.
And the clerk is not working for the governor. He has been serving them. He's been there. He's not working for the governor. So the governor has nothing to do. Whatever, if they have crisis in the House and seek the intervention of the governor now would have the opportunity to intervene and assist them. They've not told the governor.
Very quickly. Let me ask you this, Mr. Kioma. Did the governor hold any meeting with the State Assembly lawmakers before the election?
Of course, yes, he held a meeting with them. And it was just a peaceful meeting. He just told them, gentlemen, you have the freedom to take your decision to elect who will be your speaker. I am not interfering, but I want things to be peacefully done. There should be peace. There shouldn't be any, just symbiotic relationship between the legislature and the executive.
Honorable Adiele, let me come to you now. You heard Mr. Kioma talk about the Constitution and how it overrules any standing rules that you may have in the House that guides the election of your principal officers. How do you respond to that?
Well, he cited the Constitution as it favors him, but he lost sight of Section 311 of the same Constitution that says that in electing any principal officer of the House, that it must be taken from the ranking members. Now, there are ranking members in the House. And so if you want to do anything, you start first with the ranking members. That is what I have to say. It's just that they want to do their own thing the way they want to.
Okay, well, Honorable, we have to run now. Honorable Adiele, if you can hear me very quickly in 5 seconds. What is the PDP going to do now? What is the PDP going to do now in this current situation? Any action to be expected from the PDP?
About the speakership and the deputy speakership.
And everything else that you are not happy with now?
Earlier, we have left the speaker and the deputy speaker. Let it go. Let it go. But that of the majority leader and the chief whip and the other principal officers, we are going to contest them.
Okay.
And if they don't give us the chance, we might decide to contest all of them, including the speaker. At the court of law. All
right, then we thank you very much this morning, Honorable Godwin Adiele, member representing Ukwa West State Constituency, Abia State House of Assembly, as well as Ferdinand Ekoma, who is Special Advisor to Governor Otti on Media and Publicity. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being a part of our program this morning.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that's